Welcome to Saju Matthew Online Safety University.
What do you mean by suitable and sufficient risk assessment?
Yeah, very good question. What do you mean by suitable and sufficient risk assessment? As we know that every employer need to provide a suitable and sufficient risk assessment against each and every activity at workplace. The question is, what do you mean by suitable and sufficient risk assessment, or how can you call your risk assessment as suitable and sufficient? Clear? That's the question. So in order to make a risk assessment suitable and sufficient, the risk assessment should identify all significant hazards and ignore the trivial one. All important hazards it should identify, and it should ignore the unimportant one. So in order to make a risk assessment suitable and sufficient, the risk assessment should identify all significant hazards and ignore the trivial one. It should be carried out by a competent person. Then only it becomes suitable and sufficient. It should be carried out by a competent person. The risk assessment should meet the minimum legal requirement. What directives are given in the legal requirement, it should meet the minimum legal requirements. Clear? It should identify control measures against direct risk and residual risk. In order to make it suitable and sufficient, it should identify control measures against direct risk and residual risk. In order to make it suitable and sufficient, the risk assessment should be documented. Undocumented cannot be called as suitable and sufficient. So it should be documented. Clear? First of all, in order to call risk assessment suitable and sufficient, it should identify all significant hazard and ignore the trivial one. It should be carried out by a competent person. It should be recorded. It should identify control measures against direct risk and residual risk. Clear? Then it must be valid for a reasonable period of time. The risk assessment must be valid for a reasonable period of time. Clear? Then the recommendation or the control measures which you are recommending should be within the concept of as low as reasonably practical. Very important. In a risk assessment, you will be suggesting some control measures. The control measure which you are suggesting should be within the concept of ALARP, A-L-A-R-P, as low as reasonably practicable. In the sense, by spending minimum time, minimum effort, minimum cost, you should be able to control maximum risk. Once again, by spending minimum time, minimum efforts, minimum money, minimum cost, you should be able to control maximum risk. For example, by spending 500 Indian rupees, you should be able to control $5,000 risk. Then that becomes as low as reasonably practicable. Clear? So in order to make your risk assessment suitable and sufficient, it should comply with the legal requirement. It should be valid for a reasonable period of time. It should be carried out by trained and competent people only. It should identify all significant hazard and ignore the trivial one. The recommendation, the control measure should identify direct risk and residual risk, and the control measure should be sufficient enough to control direct risk and residual risk, and the concept should be within the concept of ALARP. Clear? Must be documented. And then we can call this risk assessment as suitable and sufficient. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Sir, my next question is, who can carry out a risk assessment?
Oh, it's a very genuine question. Who can carry out a risk assessment? Who can carry out a risk assessment? First of all, a competent person who is conversant with the activities. Must be familiar in order to carry, see, sometimes what happens, risk assessments are being carried out by a group of people. In order to be included in the risk assessment team, the individual should have adequate competence. First of all, in order to be included in a risk assessment team, the team member should know about the process. See, for example, welding. Regarding welding, if you are going to do a risk assessment, you should know how the welding is happening. So, in order to be included in the risk assessment team, the individual should know about the process. They should know about the legal requirement with respect to risk assessment. What are the legal applications, legal requirements are there, that they should know. They should have undergone risk assessment training. They should have undergone risk assessment training. The individual should have analytical skill. He should be able to calculate 2 into 2, 4, multiplication skill, analytical skill. The individual should have data entry capability. He should be able to type. Individual should have data entry capability. Individual should first of all, in order to be included in the risk assessment team, he should know about the process, he should have undergone training, risk assessment training, must have language ability, data entry capability, analytical skill, must be a team player. A lone worker cannot do that, must be a team player. Must know the legal requirement with respect to risk assessment. He should know the risk assessment steps, should have undergone risk assessment training. Such people should know about the process, he should know about the legal requirement, he should have undergone risk assessment training, he must be a team player, he should have language ability, data entry capability, analytical skill, clear, and must be free from prejudices, from preconditioning, must have open-mindedness, he should have open thinking, must be free from prejudices and preconditioning of the mind. Such people can be included in the risk assessment team. They can do the risk assessment. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Very good.